Welcome to Novel Voice. Chapter 403, Elimination. In the previous stage, within the 100 worlds, there was no live broadcast. This led to the Ganwu universe countries over 1.3 trillion star fields, with countless universe citizens being completely anxious and nervous. After all, they could only see the rankings and not the battle itself. The start of the arena fights, however, was open for people to actually watch and spectate. This led to the sale of the arena tickets being extremely competitive as they were selling like hotcakes. The arena wars were separated into 1,000 groups, and 200 groups would battle every day. The first day was the first group to group to 100. The 3 Black Dragon Mountain Empire participants that made it through the first round of elimination, Nabini, Hong, and Luo Feng, of which Nabini was in group 32. Hong was in group 161 and Luo Feng in group 382. Hence both Nabini and Hong were in the arena wars on the first day, while Luo Feng's group was scheduled for the second day. The virtual universe specially opened up a space with a vast endless river coursing through it. This extremely wide river that flowed through the entire space filled with islands. Every island had a dojo. These arena fights were to be held in these dojos. Island 01932. Within the dojo, there were countless spectators, and it was impossible to see the end of them. Amongst the spectators were Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, and their families. There's way too many people. Daddy, this dojo is huge. Ping Ping, who had his hair combed neatly as it parted down the middle, exclaimed, "The area of the dojo is about 100 square kilometers." Luo Feng smiled. "It can hold a maximum of 1 billion spectators." 1 billion? Ping Ping and Little Hai, the 2 children, were shocked. Actually, just a football stadium on Earth could hold up to 100,000 people. In this kind of space created just by the virtual universe, with huge dojos on every island, while accommodating 1 billion people was an easy thing to do. Compared to a football stadium on Earth, its area was at least 100 to a few hundreds of times bigger in length and width. Sister-in-law, sitting behind, Su Geng laughed. "This arena battle has just begun, and we rushed to get the tickets. However, we still failed to get any. Luckily you have tickets, otherwise we'd have to watch the broadcast. It is very competitive. My office workers haven't been able to get tickets." Luo Hua nodded. There's over 100 million galaxies in the entire Ganwu universe country. From each and every galaxy, even if just 10 people bought the tickets, it is more than enough for the tickets to become sold out. Luo Feng said, "Naturally, the sale will be intense. Big brother and I made it through the elimination. Hence we have the privilege to buy first. This is the only reason we got a few tens of tickets. Just 1 ticket alone was hard to get." The atmosphere in the dojo was incredibly passionate. 1 billion people from over 100 million galaxies all gathered together. Just what kind of scene was it? Fortunately, it was in the virtual universe. If this was in the real world, just the number of staff members required to manage them would be troublesome. Attention all, A sweet and clear voice resounded throughout the billion spectators' ears. The humans from Earth in the stands turned to look. Standing in the center of the dojo was a smoking hot brown-haired young lady dressed in a tight armor. As the distance was too far, the spectators couldn't even see her clearly. Hence, in mid-air a huge virtual image appeared, allowing the spectators to see clearly. The battle that's about to begin will be the 32nd group in the Arena Wars. Let me introduce the 100 geniuses from the 32nd group. First, Long Suo from the Boya Empire. Previously, in the 82nd world, he was ranked 12. The beautiful brown-haired young lady's clear voice resounded in the 1 billion spectators' ears. Beside the current screen, a second screen floated in mid-air, and the image as well as simple information regarding the genius Long Suo was displayed. Long Suo, Long Suo. The entire dojo suddenly burst out in cheers. All that could be seen was a large portion of the dojo was filled with people going crazy and cheering, shouting out loudly Long Suo's name. Their cheers resounded like thunder. Second, third, the geniuses were all introduced one by one. Finally, that brown-haired lady smiled and said, "Number 86, Nabini, from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire." Previously, in the 21st world, it was ranked 860. Beside, the screen displayed Nabini's image and information. Rumble. Luo Feng felt as though his surroundings had exploded or something. Cheers that rumbled even the mountains and seas were heard as a large portion of the spectators around him were excitedly cheering. Nabini, Nabini. The cheers sounded as loud as thunder. Immersed in such an environment, it caused many to be unable to help but cheer and shout along. Ping Ping and Little Hai beside were waving their fists too, shouting till their faces turned red. Nabini, Nabini. Everybody's cheering like crazy. Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God all laughed. The arrangement of the spectators was in accordance to the star field they came from. From the Black Dragon Mountain star field, and the participant geniuses and the various star fields they came from would all get special privileges when they bought the tickets. According to theory, with 1 billion tickets sold among the many star fields, every star field would not even get 100,000 tickets. If the star field had an active participant, then that star field was allowed 1 million tickets. Because of Nabini's participation, the Black Dragon Mountain star field was awarded 1 million tickets. This was the reason why there were 1 million citizens from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire in the audience. The previous cheers belonged to the other star fields. But now that the participant from the Black Dragon Mountain star field was announced, these 1 million people all excitedly shouted and roared. 1 million people cheering. It was like an ocean altogether. "This Nabini is quite handsome," Thunder God said softly and laughed. Nabini had a pigtail, and his entire person seemed like a leopard. "I've checked his background. It's not bad." Hong lifted his wrist, and the screen on it displayed a bit of Nabini's background. Oh, Luo Feng looked at it. Nabini was originally from an aboriginal planet leading a savage life of eat or be eaten, and battled against wild beasts from a young age. Actually, this planet was one of the territories of the Palace family, and it was specially used to cultivate special beasts that were used for training and war. Secretly monitoring this planet, the family discovered that there was a child who actually had shocking power. They immediately knew he was a treasure. They immediately sent people to take this Nabini aboriginal away. Since then, Nabini had stepped into the civilized ways of society and very quickly became a citizen of the empire. Somehow, he also became somewhat of a young master within the Palace family. The Palace family had offended a few enemies and aggravated a few large and powerful families to attack them, and the enemies actually had universe-level warriors. In a galaxy, a universe-level warrior was considered the land's emperor. The Palace family thus began to crumble. This battle, however, attracted the attention of a wandering sector lord. During the battle, that sector lord had noticed that Nabini had amazing talent and immediately stepped in to stop the slaughter. The sector lord's intervention made it so that the enemy family were too terrified to even resist. Hence the Palace family survived. The sector lord took in Nabini as his disciple and brought him to the Black Dragon Mountain sacred land. Since then, Nabini lived in the sacred land, and the rate of his strength increase grew even faster. He was the Black Dragon Mountain sacred land's most exceptional genius. Aboriginal, Luo Feng exclaimed, "Actually, we too are aboriginals." "Right," Hong nodded. "I realized that I have a good feeling about this Nabini." Thunder God chuckled. During Luo Feng and his brother's conversation, that beautiful lady in the center of the dojo was revving up the crowd and atmosphere, excitedly shouting, "Attention all! Attention all! The arena wars will begin immediately. Everybody, please count down together with me for those in anticipation of this pinnacle genius battle. 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. Rumble. The entire dojo erupted, and in the center human silhouettes appeared. It was the 100 geniuses that were introduced to everyone before from the different star fields. Nabini, Kite Loke, Long Suo. Different cheers immediately erupted within the dojo. The cheers and roars of the dojo were almost like a shockwave. Luo Feng took one look and noticed Nabini amidst the 100. With a pigtail, his gaze was fierce, almost like a hunting cheetah. He carried two long and narrow blades on his back. He was also cautious and prudent as he paid attention to everybody. "Let the war begin." A low voice resounded within the 1 billion spectators and the participants' minds. Silence. The dojo was suddenly silent, and the 100 geniuses in the center made their moves immediately. Chi, Zhu. Beams of lights lit up as the geniuses all dodged and moved swiftly. The unleashed domains caused the entire dojo to be covered in multicolored radiance. The colorful energy waves revolved about, and the geniuses were all either dodging and fleeing or exchanging blows. Everything was as fast as lightning. The war was very dangerous because one had to defend against sneak attacks. That Nabini is sly indeed. From the spectators, Thunder God's eyes gleamed. It doesn't matter. Every single one of them are just as clever. Luo Feng's eyebrows creased. The space in which the geniuses were battling in was constantly shrinking, forcing those on flying spirit weapons to have no way to flee far enough. The geniuses were constantly dying off. The number of deaths rose constantly. 8, 14, 29, 36. This caused the 1 billion audience members of many star fields to watch with bated breaths, some even with long sighs. However, the intense battle still caused everybody to hold their breaths and not make any loud noises. Navini held his two blades, and his entire person became a gust of wind as he madly defended against the enemy's spirit weapon. When Nabini was engaged with this other spirit reader, from the distance another genius flew over, simultaneously controlling a cone spirit weapon to become a beam of lightning and shooting over. HMPH? With the lightning shooting over, Nabini dodged while using his left blade to block. Pa? Vist N0VEL, BIN, for the best novel reading experience. The lightning caused Nabini's left blade to be knocked away, and he revealed a look of shock. That strength, it's too strong. That lightning followed closely and pierced through his forehead. Nabini did. The number of deaths swiftly continued to rise. 73, 78, 82, 89, 90. The 32nd group arena war has ended. The number of dead and eliminated is 90. The remaining 10 have the right to enter the 900 slots name list. A low voice resounded within the 10 survivors and 1 billion spectators. All the spectators in the stands finally let out all sorts of noises, be it sighs, rage, or even excited cheers. Nabini has been eliminated. Thunder God shook his head. His strength belonged to the lowest of the 100. The only reason why he survived past the first half was because he was sly and clever. Hong shook his head. Being eliminated too is normal. I'm afraid I wouldn't do much better than him. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.